Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Solfridge with the Kids Money Project, and we are coming to you live inside of Mommies and Money. And I have Paula Weiss here with CNS Insurance. Hey Paula, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you on this beautiful Wednesday?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little overcast outside here, but other than that, it's a pretty good
Yep.
day.
Storms are coming again.
Yes, again, which,
Yes.
rain's not necessarily a horrible thing, but I kind of miss the sunny days.
Yes. Yeah. But we'll get there. And then you're going to say, oh, I could use a cloudy day because it's so hot and humid.
This is true. We're not all that far from those super hot days, so
Yeah.
we'll be wishing for some rain at that point.
Oh, I agree.
But, well, we hope y'all are having a great day so far, and we are here talking about something that we wish was not happening, which is
Yeah.
why are Americans not saving for their retirement? We know that when they do start, they're much older,
Right.
unfortunately, which unfortunately that time factor is shortened greatly at that point. And so, what is it and why aren't Americans actually taking advantage of the time, starting in their 20s when they go to work?
Because they think Social Security is going to be there for them forever. And it was never made for that. In fact, I found a publication from Social Security saying it was never meant to be a sole retirement vehicle.
Well, and not to mention our social security system is in somewhat of a crisis mode. I mean, well, I
Yes.
think it has been. I, well, let me put
Numerous
it to you
times.
this way. I was told when I was 7 by my mother I wasn't going to see social security. Now, obviously at 7, I had no idea what social security was,
Right.
but I had this idea I wasn't going to get it, so didn't need to depend on it.
Right.
And
Mhm.
that was 40 years ago. So
Mhm.
it was in crisis mode then.
Yeah.
Nothing has been done to fix it, work on it. I mean, I think they've probably done a few little things, and I don't think it's done anything. If anything, it may have even made it worse.
Well, they tried
So,
to tweak it, but
yeah.
it
So,
didn't.
yeah.
And yeah. And when we had the financial crisis and so many people were out of work, that impacted monies going in because we didn't have as many people working as we had. What, an 18% or 20% unemployment rate at time. So, but I don't know that people know what they have other avenues in order to save for retirement.
Mhm. Well, it's so Social Security was essentially set up to help supplement a retirement fund. So again, never meant to be a sole purpose of retirement. It was simply meant to supplement the other part that you did.
And it was a bigger part for people with disabilities and survivors. That was their key, that they lost a spouse who was the breadwinner. And
Mhm.
that was the emphasis of what uh, of why that actually started, because they saw a need at that point in time to have the supplement for that additional income.
Mhm. And so we kind of did some research to just find
Yes.
out, maybe why others are not actually. So, like I said,
Mhm.
we found out about the Social Security that a lot of people feel that that is their retirement
Right.
and that is what they're planning to use. So know for sure that that is not going to be
Right.
enough. What did you say, Paula? It's 12% essentially of your
It
income.
becomes 12.4%, of which you employee pay 6.2, and your employer matches it. So 12.4% of your income. And if you think that's enough to retire on, um,
We
you're
need to
in the
talk.
wrong league. Yeah. Yes.
It's not.
No, it won't work at all.
Mhm. And then of course the biggest reason that I think most people say is that they don't have enough money to actually put towards savings. So
Mhm.
by the time they get finished paying their mortgages and their cars and their bills and all this, that they're not saving. Well, technically we answered that question last week.
Yes,
And that is paying yourself first. So
absolutely.
instead of paying all these things and then taking what's left over and using that towards your savings or paying, whatever is left at
Mhm.
that point, maybe it's paying off debt or something, you
Right,
should be paying yourself first.
right.
And in that means your retirement because the problem is you can't borrow for your retirement later.
Yeah, I know. I
So,
love it. And I
yeah.
guess if you learn how to pay for yourself first, if that becomes that you actually value yourself and you think you are worth making sure you get paid, then your decision of the car you buy and the house you purchase
Mhm.
and your incidentals will change. But
Yes.
you'll be able to see that there is a value, that you actually value yourself, and it's a better peace of mind. You don't need the bigger. I can't tell you what to do or how to do it, but if it's a difference of one zip code or a difference of the top of the line to the middle of the line on a vehicle you're buying, but you know you're preparing for retirement, and your retirement's probably going to be longer than what your parents were. Probably you're not going to be retiring at 65 or 70. It might even be later because your lifespan is probably going to be moving up to potentially in the 90s.
Well,
So,
the government's already moved the retirement age to
yes.
67.
Hmm.
So,
And they're looking to push it again.
mhm,
So those are things to think about when you're making the purchases, because as much as you think retirement's 50 years away,
right.
that time goes so fast. And you're looking and saying, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? And I promise you, you don't want to live with your kids, and your kids don't want to live with you.
Mhm.
So, mom and dad, ladies, think about that. The casita's nice, but you want to be able to if you're healthy, to have a successful and active retirement.
Well, and you don't wanna take away that time factor. So, we've talked about it before because it is so important. But, waiting until later on, and I get it. I was 20 once, and it feels like it's so far away. And at
Hmm.
20, it is a good amount of time
Yeah.
away. But the problem is you not starting at that point and wasting those years not putting even small amounts of
Right.
money away.
Hmm.
You're losing that effect of the compounding interest that can build for you.
Right.
And that can really be a game changer when it comes time for retirement later on.
Yeah.
And so you cannot make up that time. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so, yes, while if you haven't started to save in your 30s or your 40s, absolutely start now.
Right.
The more time you have, the better. But, you know, people in their 20s need to realize while it seems like it's a long way away, it really isn't as long. I mean, remember when you were kids and you thought Christmas was never going to get here or your birthday was never going to get here? And, everything went off of those and it just felt like it was forever. And then your parents were always saying, time is flying. I can't believe it. And we're all going, are you crazy? No, it's not. It's
Took
taking
them
forever.
forever.
The
That's right.
end of the school year took forever to get there.
Hmm.
Summer was so far off. And then you get a little older and maybe you start having kids of your own, and all of a sudden you start
Hmm.
understanding what your parents were saying.
Yeah.
Time is flying.
Well,
Even in this pandemic, we're
gosh,
sitting
yeah.
here at times it felt like it was just dragging on forever and ever
It
and
has
ever. And then other
flown.
times it's like, we've been doing this for a year now.
Yeah.
And
One
it
thing
that
like
just
that.
seems crazy.
Yeah.
So, time is something you can't afford to waste, particularly when it comes to your retirement. So
And I think people, when they use the excuse of not having a 401k as not being able to go ahead and plan for retirement. And here's your reality fact: that's pre-tax money, and that's all well and good. However, let's say you do accumulate $1 million, which sounds incredibly healthy and it's great, and I'm going to do it. Well, you have a partner in your money. Uncle Sam is going to have his hand out, or her hand out, whoever you want to refer to, and they're going to take potentially 20%. And depending upon where the economy and who's in office, it could be far greater than that. So that million, maybe 80 or 70. That could 1,000. That can change how you look at retirement.
mhm,
So some of these other products and just savings in a savings account,
mhm.
you don't have the same tax liability. You have tax on your growth, but you don't have tax
Well,
on
and
your
even in our
savings.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. It was coming out slowly.
Oh, but, and of course, what we also realized in looking through this is so about 60% of Americans, I think it was 59 to be exact, have access to a 401k,
Mhm.
but only about half
Yes.
are taking advantage of the 401k. And then I could not find an exact statistic of how many were actually taking advantage to its full potential. In other
Most of them
words,
weren't. I think it was 20%.
okay, 20%. So most are not taking full advantage of
Mhm.
getting those matches from their
Right.
employers.
Mhm.
And that should be your minimum that goes into your
Yeah.
401k is making sure you match or get that full match
Yeah.
of your
Yes.
employer.
Mhm.
That should be your minimum.
It's free money, guys.
Yes.
Free money. Your employer is giving you a benefit. Granted, he
Yes.
gets a tax advantage, but it's still a benefit to you. And if
Right.
anybody gives me money, I'll say thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
take it.
take the money. I mean,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you take that money? It would be
Mhm.
crazy not to. And so yeah, so even with that, there are a lot of people that are like, I don't work for somebody else or I'm not offered a 401k. I've never been offered a 401k.
Yeah.
I've worked for
Mhm.
myself since, before I even graduated school. So I didn't have a
Mhm.
401k offered. I guess I maybe could have offered it to myself, but well,
Theft, but yeah. You
right.
did other, yeah, you did other means of saving. So it's really a matter
Exactly.
of no matter what the vehicle is, and it's all going to be taxable at one point or another. It's just a matter of getting the money in someplace which it grows some interest, it compounds, and it grows for you. But you also take it out of your regular everyday pocket. You
Yes.
put it in the back pocket with the zipper, and you just continue to let it grow. And then you'll be surprised when you open up and you see and go, wow. And I
Mhm.
think it's like anything else, and I'll equate it to when you're on a diet. It's like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, when you start paying it, you ignore it and you
Mhm.
start doing what you're supposed to do, and you get on the scale again, and it's 5 pounds or 10 pounds. And it's like, how did I do it? And it incites you and excites you more to go ahead and do more because you see the power of compounding and you just see this power of putting money away. And I apologize, Kermit's here. So I do apologize for his squeak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's all about getting started. Sometimes
yeah,
that's the hardest part of it is getting it started. And if you don't know how to get it started, maybe you're one of these people that maybe you work for yourself or something and you don't have something started, call
call
Paula.
us. Yeah, call,
Call,
I'm
call
a great
somebody.
accountability. I'm a great accountability coach. If I do nothing else, it's a matter of whether it's that weekly tweet or that little conversation or an email reminder of did you. And what does it take? 21 days to create a habit. When you start doing something and you'll see the reward,
Mhm.
just knowing that you didn't spend it um,
Absolutely. Well, you
will make you
automate it.
feel better. Yeah. Oh gosh, greatest thing with technology, they take it
Mhm.
right out of your paycheck.
Yeah. Well, if it's in your account, you will spend it. I mean, it
Yes.
just absolutely. It's just human nature. If it's
Hmm.
there, it's obviously I can spend it.
Right.
And it used to drive me crazy. I'd have a friend that would always, check her balance by checking her ATM card. And it always drove me nuts because I'm like, but there may be things that you've paid that aren't showing
Right.
yet on that
Hmm.
balance.
Right.
So don't go off of that
Yeah.
balance.
Actually,
And
yeah.
and so yeah, don't let that money just sit into your account because once it's there and if it's just sitting, you
You'll
will
find something.
find something. I mean,
Yes.
in fact, most people can't even tell you what they have spent their money on a
Yeah.
lot of times.
Hmm.
And so it's don't even have it sit there. Have it go directly into an account
Right.
that's working for you. So when you get to that point in your life, you do not have to worry. Can
Right.
you imagine not having to worry when you hit 65, 67, whenever it is you
Whenever
decide
it's
to
going to be.
retire? You even do this right. You can retire early and not have to worry about this. So
Right.
there's
And there's so many choices, but I think Kimberly, I talk about it. We talk a lot beyond here, but it really is your choice. So if you buy coffee every day, if you go out to lunch 5 days a week, if you um, whatever,
have
if
to
you
have the
smoke,
latest phone.
yeah, oh gosh, yeah, latest phone technology, that kind of stuff. If you can give that up or curtail it, don't give it up altogether, but make it 3 times a week, make it twice a week, instead of buying the big latte or venti or $6. I look at them and go, $6 for coffee. Um, I keep walking. But if you have to have it, then see whether or not you can give it up. Bring your own mug of coffee or make your own coffee or find something else. But you'll see, my gosh, I didn't realize. Go back to your debit or your credit card and see how many times you spent at some of the choices. And you'll come back and say, I didn't realize that's how much I was spending. And what
Well, it
else
is.
could I
It's
do with
about
that?
prioritizing,
Mhm.
what you want. And that's really the first part of it. Figure out what it is that you really want. And we're not saying eliminate all of this stuff,
No.
but it may be a matter of, like she said, cutting back, or maybe you realize this over here is much more important. So yeah, suddenly that coffee's not looking as great because I really want this. And
Mhm.
so it's just about making choices.
Yeah,
So,
but there are plenty of choices out there, and if you don't know what they are, please contact me. I don't cost anything to talk to. It's a conversation of looking at what your options are. Everything's unique and to anybody in specific, but you have the ability to change your life today
mhm,
if you choose to make the choice to save your money or look at your budget or plan your future beyond your next vacation or school year. Um, it's truly up to you. And the other thing I'm going to say is that most of our people, our followers, are ladies.
mhm,
85% of you are going to have the helm. You're going to be controlling how your life goes. And if you don't make good choices today, that will impact how you live when you are manning your own ship.
mhm.
So just know that you've got a responsibility here for long term. And it's a good time today to start.
Absolutely.
We're in the springtime. It's time to make some good changes.
That's right. Time for some spring cleaning and get some things
Oh,
ready.
I like that. Yes.
Spring cleaning, instead of just cleaning out your closet, you're going to clean out those bills.
Mhm. And look at what you're doing. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I hopefully you've learned or given you a different perspective of why it's so important and that you do have control. You have total control of what your choices are. And we're just giving you some ideas of how to help you make better ones.
Absolutely. And so yeah, that's pretty much what we wanted to talk about today because these are things that we hear over and over, and we know a lot of it is just a kind of about the mindset. You haven't thought about it maybe in another way if this is, an excuse that you're using. So, if it is something you've said before, take a look, take a deep dive and look and see if it's something you can change because you know what? You are absolutely in control. And
Mhm.
so it's just about seeing what you can do. And
Great.
so we encourage you to do that. But well, thank you for tuning in with us today,
Mhm.
and we will be back next week. And obviously, if you have anything that you'd like for us to kind of talk about or something like that, feel free to drop it in the comments. Otherwise, and obviously, just reach out to us if you ever have any questions or
Yeah.
anything, or have a question about something that we've talked about before. It doesn't even necessarily have to be what we talked about this week. Something from before.
Right. Or I need you to talk about this because I don't understand.
Absolutely.
Or my girlfriend said this, or my husband said that, and go, oh gosh, no, that can't be true.
Yeah. Well, be careful who you get your financial advice from.
Oh gosh, yeah,
So,
absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask
mhm,
a question.
absolutely.
Yeah. So on
Well,
that note, have a happy Wednesday.
yes, we will see y'all next week.
See you now. Bye bye.
Bye bye.